What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. That Nintendo Direct was garbage. Absolutely horrendous. Horrific, even. One of the worst Nintendo Directs I have ever seen. And now that we get rid of all the fanboys that are disliking this video, let's actually talk about what transpired. Nintendo had their Microsoft Partner Direct, along with a slew of other third-party companies, bringing some games over to the Nintendo Switch, and they went through it. It was about, 24 minutes of trailers that were fairly underwhelming and unnecessary to be part of a Direct. Okay, was it completely awful and there was no redeeming factors and values? No, there was a couple things that were like, it's all right. But overall, I feel like this Direct could have been broken up into just trailers released on Twitter throughout the past couple of weeks, and people would have actually taken to it better. This was unnecessary, and it tarnishes the brand of Nintendo Direct, which is a very powerful two words when put together these days. And I feel like Nintendo just doesn't care. They want to do everything they can to make as much money as possible in the last months of the Nintendo Switch. Because let's be honest, it's coming to an end, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a smooth landing. JT. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for my full thoughts on this Nintendo Partner Direct that debuted on February 21st, 2024, a pre-recorded released video on YouTube where Nintendo just dropped it, and you could fast forward through it if you wanted to and skip to any parts that were interesting. And I'll be honest, the first time I watched it, I skipped through every 20, 30 seconds, be like, okay, yeah, no, that doesn't look entertaining. Nope, not catching my eye on that one. Already knew about that game, but didn't really care about it. Like, that was my mentality going through this thing. What was interesting? What was catching my eye? And ultimately, it came down to two games. Unicorn Overlord, which I already have pre-ordered, and this crab game that they already talked about, like, over a year ago. It looks pretty interesting, but it wasn't anything like, oh, there's a new game that caught my eye. No, that's a game that I thought came and went and already was released. No, it wasn't. This was a good reminder that it hasn't released yet, and now I want to look more into that one. But beyond that, there was nothing, and I really mean nothing in this Direct. They kicked off the Direct talking about how Grounded and Pentiment are now coming to Nintendo Switch. Two games from Microsoft Studios and Microsoft Strategy extending their gaming ecosystem beyond their own platforms. Phil Spencer's commentary on the Xbox podcast last week highlighted a shift towards less exclusivity in the gaming industry. And with that podcast, I made a couple of videos talking about how this might see some big games coming over to Nintendo Switch. And my mind immediately went to Rare Replay and Halo, not to mention Gears of War, among a slew of other games that could play on the Nintendo Switch. Yes, the Nintendo Switch is dated hardware, but it's still newer than the Xbox 360, and even though it might be a little bit downgraded, it should still be able to play those games well enough to enjoy them. And no, they're not happening, at least not yet. But I'll get to Rare Replay later in this video, because ooh, that one really burned me. Unicorn Overlord, I can't speak highly enough to. This game looks like it's going to be a standout sleeper hit of 2024. There's not enough people talking about this game. I am super hyped about it, and it's been a very long time since I could say that about a third-party game. It really has. It's set for release on March 8th and stands as a beacon of hope in a sea of mediocre games. The new trailer captured imagination, and the immediate availability of the demo today was a welcome surprise, something I plan on getting to as soon as I'm done recording and uploading this video. And then we have another Crab's Treasure, Souls-like game, which cracked me up when they said that, because it's like this adorable crab putting a can on his back, and they're like, join this guy in a Souls-like adventure. And I'm like, what?
Scour the depths of a polluted undersea world in this Souls-like adventure. I recently had my shell taken away.
It caught my eye, and it looks interesting enough for me to check out a little bit further. That one is slated for release on April 25th, and it's one I'm looking forward to trying out when it comes out. And if there's a demo for that one, I'll definitely be trying it as well. And that's really it. Like, I'm sure there were other games that I'm sure other people liked. Like, Persona is one of those games that you either love all the Persona games or you just don't care about Persona. And they said something about a Persona game. I'm like, great, there's another Persona game for all the people that are Persona hype addicts. Like, awesome. I'm glad you guys got something that probably excites you. But beyond that, that's really it. The Direct was packed with remakes and sequels and rehashed stories of games we already know, have played, had the opportunity to play, or skipped over in the past, like Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed, which, I'll be honest, looks pretty good, and Monster Hunter Stories, which is a childish version of a 3DS game coming to Switch in HD with a new vocal track. Great. It's an RPG for kids for Monster Hunter. Okay, awesome. Those might appeal to specific niche audiences, especially the younger kids, but they contribute to a sense of recycling content rather than offering anything fresh or innovative. And I guess that's where we find ourselves in the latter half of the Nintendo Switch life cycle, where there really isn't anything that Nintendo was putting its full effort into for the Nintendo Switch right now. And they can't come out and just say that, because they want to sell Nintendo Switch and they want to sell games for it still. So they don't want to just completely drop it and move on. But all indications, all sides, everything is pointing to, obviously, Nintendo's big guns in their internal studios are working on huge AAA titles right now as we speak for the Nintendo Switch 2. And they've learned quite a bit from their Metroid Prime 4 announcement that they're not going to say a damn thing about anything until they know exactly when it's going to be coming out. And that's kind of good and bad, because right now we don't have official announcements. And obviously, like I said, Nintendo is working on things, but what we have to go by as fans of the games are, let's get some hope that these rehashed games are entertaining enough to get us through this, what looks to be the final year of the Nintendo Switch. And oh, by the way, for all the people that are just mad at me for having an opinion different from yours, if you enjoyed this Nintendo Partner Direct, I am so happy for you. But you know what? I'm not going to turn on recording this video and just lie to you guys and pretend I loved it when that wasn't anywhere close to the experience I felt while watching it. Like Endless Ocean. Looks interesting. Looks fun. But I didn't play it on Wii. People said it's awesome on Wii. Okay, maybe I'll check it out on Wii. But this did not get me hyped to buy it on the Nintendo Switch. And I know there's a lot of people out there that loved Endless Ocean and are super hyped about this. But to be honest, between not really caring about it going into it and then having it leaked by Pyoro on Twitter a few days ago, it didn't really make much of a splash with me. I watched it and I'm like, yeah, there it is. Okay, great. Like, I don't care about it. Like, it didn't mean anything to me. And then we have Nintendo unveiling the lackluster Rare Replay, where they massacred Rare Replay. They broke it up and only gave us a few tidbits of games from the entire collection that Microsoft put out years ago. Like, this collection from Microsoft has a slew of titles on it, and we get 4 games. RC Pro-Am, Killer Instinct, Snake Rattle and Roll, and this Battletoads game on Super Nintendo for the online service. And then, if you want to pay even more for Nintendo Online and get the Online Expansion Plus program, you can get Blast Corp. 5 games out of, what was it with Rare Replay? 30 hit games? And while some people have pointed out that some of those games on the Rare Replay collection of games were Microsoft games exclusive, oh, okay. Microsoft's putting some exclusive games on the Nintendo Switch. Why couldn't they have used Rare Replay as their entry, their gateway to Nintendo, and being like, yeah, we know you guys sold Rare to us years ago. Here's us extending an olive branch back and putting our game on your platform and making some money from there, and you guys can get a royalty fee for selling our game on your console. Great. everyone wins. What the hell are they doing by splitting it up and only giving people 5 games that you have to pay a monthly fee for that you don't ever own? Nobody wants that. And speaking of nobody wants that, if they did want it, they'd want, I don't know, Mother 3, which, Japan got, but we didn't. Which it almost feels like Nintendo is trolling Western audiences at this point with Mother, and how they can't bring Earthbound over to Nintendo platforms, specifically Mother 3, a Game Boy Advance game that has never seen an official Western release from Nintendo, even though the game has been completely fan translated from ground up in English perfectly. This is basically Nintendo telling you that you should go download that ROM right now and play it somewhere else because they don't give a crap about giving you what you want on their actual platform. This is going to blow up in their face. And you know what? It's one of those, well, if it's not the consequences of our own decisions. So many things in this Nintendo Direct that I took issue with. Not to mention the blatant flippancy of putting this out there and not really even caring, not having the emotion that they used to have in the original Nintendo Directs, where people from Nintendo would be introducing games and talking about the exciting stuff. This was just marketing fluff, and I get it. That's what Nintendo Directs always are, but this one is just right in your face. We don't give a crap about these third-party games. Here, let's shove them all in your face. Buy them if you want to, but we don't really care because ultimately we're Nintendo. We're sitting on piles of money and we want to sell our first party games first and foremost. So yes, it's nice, I guess, that they do this third party thing where they're partner showcase to give some sort of limelight to these third party publishers. But at the end of the day, I feel like it almost does a disservice because it puts all these games together and just makes you feel like there's nothing exciting. There's nothing great. There's nothing that makes me want to go out and get hyped for the game and buy it day one. Outside of the games that I already knew about. And I think right there is the biggest issue with all of this. And like I said, was it the worst thing ever? No, it's new games. You don't have to buy them if you don't want them. This is just my sentiment, my feeling of watching this 24 plus minutes or whatever of my life multiple times. So over an hour of watching this thing, skipping through parts of it, watching it again, and taking it all in and just being like, yeah, no, this ain't it. It's a Nintendo partner direct, sure, but outside of that, it was nothing special. So anything beyond that, I'd just be lying and pretending. I watched this thing and I felt like a cranky old man. Get off my lawn, stupid games. There's nothing here that I care about. And I know Nintendo doesn't really care about my personal feelings or hell, the general public's personal feelings because they're making money no matter what. And right now, their main focus is the Switch 2. And like I said earlier, they can't talk about that. They can't hype people up about that. They can't promote that yet. So they need to try to promote everything else right now, sell as much as they can, and then get the hell out of that and start focusing on the Switch 2. I just hope that moment comes sooner than later. Those are my thoughts on the Nintendo Partner Direct. If you want more information, like I said, check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down all this information. Let me know what you guys thought about the Nintendo Partner Direct in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear if there's anything that stood out to you that I didn't talk about in this video. Like, I'm sure people want Contra and stuff like that. Great. But let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments. Be interested to hear. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.
Smash,